Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is a Truth Tuesday. My friend Satoshi Sean is back. We're back from spring break, back from Canada, back from all the things, and back from homeschooling today. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, springtime with teenage boys after lunch outside is quite an event. Thankfully, we started anatomy and we have started having those talks as well. So we did have a hygiene episode today as well. So give us a like, share the video, and we'll be back with Satoshi Sean right after this. Hey, welcome back. Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing? I was just giving you a like. There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so like crazy day for, well, I wanted to start off with silver. Like it's the end of the month, and I guess I was reading this thing about the closings, and it has to happen so many days before the end of the month. So although it's not like the last day of the month, today is an important day for like kicking off the silver squeeze. And I guess the big day is the 27th. But starting today, leading up to the 27th, is like go buy the physical silver to kick off the silver squeeze. And I guess it got as high as like $34, I think I heard.
Yeah, it was like one of the biggest runs in a long time. I forget it's been.
Mm-hmm.
But and then there's the what's it called? It's like the 20% bump or something. I don't know. But silver's such a weird investment because it's real, and there's like, when you really think about it, there's not many people don't invest in real stuff, mainly because they're investing with paper currency, which is just starting off in a weird place. But this expert I watched broke it down.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I have to check on something. I think Cannon may have locked my husband out of the house. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I really want to talk about this with Lisa, but the way it was explained is that this there has to be like this huge move in silver for anyone to sell. If not, it's not worth it to sell, because it's not like a stock or Bitcoin or any other usual kind of thing that people invest in, where you put in this much. If it goes up 10%, you sell it, and there might be like commissions or fees or whatever, but they're there's, first off, they're nominal, but even if they're not that nominal, they're part of it. You can see it. But with silver, there's so many steps that are like and intermediaries where there's spot price, which would be the price, but then when you buy silver, you buy it usually like for a couple dollars over spot, and you could buy it for $5 over or $1 over or whatever deal you can get, and then when you sell it for under spot. And so there's all these variables that if a person doesn't make it if silver doesn't move at least like 15% or 20%, then it's not worth it to sell it, because if it moves 10%, you're not making any money because you bought it for so much over spot. So it has to move, and once it moves, it's called something like the 20 move or something. That's when everyone that's been holding it and hodling it, sells, because there's going to be a correction, of course. But it's then that's when they make their money, is because with all the middlemen and deals and however they got their physical silver, that's when they that's like the magic number that they need to hit. So everybody knew it was coming. It was coming. But I think it's cool because it's bringing awareness about it.
Watching
people are talking about it,
Yeah. Well, and there was all this unobtainium. So there were several like markets or what am I trying to say? Places where you buy we're saying
Dealers.
like like the Robinhood thing shut off. They turned it off where you could not purchase even the paper silver or whatever, or I guess couldn't pull it off or something. I'm trying to find the story on that. I'm sorry, I had it pulled up here, but I can't find it. All discombobulated. Charlie couldn't get the door open. Where? Yeah, no, I can't find the story. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and they're saying on the 31st, but it's not going to be the 31st. It's my understanding it's like the 27th or something. So we will see. We'll see what happens, but good times ahead for all you silver stackers. So
yeah, and I think a lot more people are gonna come into silver. We'll just like precious metals in general.
Well, and you really got me interested in copper, and had me give away some copper here on the channel as well. And copper's up a bunch today as well.
Yeah, that's another thing that huge moves just in. That's what I was talking about. People are just coming into physical stuff. Also, it's cheap. One of the first coins I bought was Litecoin, just because it was attainable to have like 3. It was it's something that like, hey, I have $25. I can't buy Tesla. I can't. Which that's another thing we could talk about. Is buying who was it? The CEO of BlackRock had a leaked footage that he was talking about tokenization and blockchain, and how he really wants to get this pushed through to where we can tokenize the stock market and everything else. But he didn't go into it because it was, he was talking to people that know. But then, I was listening to the person that was going, explaining it, and it's like you can't. Let's say you have $25, you can't go buy, Netflix or Tesla or Facebook. It's too much. But if it's tokenized, you can buy fractional amounts and own it. Your own fractionalized part of it if it's tokenized. And this is silver metal, or silver metals, precious metals like silver and copper and things like that. It's something that anyone can buy and you can own it. I used to do that when I was a kid. I would, with my lawn mowing money, I would buy silver and then just have it. And then, because I had to pay for my own cable in my room, it was like $15 a month. So which was like 1 ounce of silver. So during the summer, I'd save up and I'd buy like 15, silver coins. And then every month I could go to the pawn shop and get my money, pay my cable bill with it during the winter when I wasn't mowing lawns. But like everyone is getting that now.
Thinking about saving. Oh, that's a great way. Saving your energy and then stacking it up to use it later. So in something that's more stable, and not as volatile as this crazy US dollar that's failing us miserably. So that's interesting. We can jump, I don't know, right into, I said Trump's on a tear, was kind of what I had put in there. Let's see, that's the Boebert thing, but they have Trump's looking into potential criminal action against Planned Parenthood, who has harvested and sold baby parts.
Yeah, that's another one of those things that is just mind blowing, because it's like something everybody knows, and it's so bad that they just kind of gloss over. I've seen so many videos where they're like, "Hey, what do you need?" Well, I gotta get lungs, I need eyes, and they're like, "Got you covered." I mean, it's not like joking. They're like, got you covered, man.
Yeah.
Lungs easy, eyes easy. And it was at a conference like in Denver or something. And I think it was, the guy that always does the undercover stuff, James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe,
Yeah, I
the
think
OMG.
he was the one that was doing it, but it was like it blew my mind. And everyone's like, yeah, it's pretty bad what they do. Like
Well,
that's just
Uncle Cliff was tweeting out and said, has anybody looked into what they're going to do, what Trump's going to do to hold these people accountable, or once they do start filing criminal charges? And of course, now they're, Pam Bondi's talking about criminal charges for what's Elon's found. Like now they're saying like, we're going to have actions. And I said, oh yeah, I've been talking about the executive order 13818. I've been talking about it.
that's
And
I think I really like about the what's happening now, and even with people on the left, because Musk and Trump are coming out saying, hey, look at this 150-year-old person getting a check, and
yeah.
fraud, abuse, waste, forget waste, throw that away, I don't care. But when you use the words fraud and abuse, those are legal terms. So then you ask the question, okay, then where's the arrest? And people were asking.
Right.
And a lot of people on the left, a lot of my friends were saying, oh, they're just making stuff up. They're just saying stuff. It's not real. And you can't argue with that if there's no arrests. Someone's saying, oh, look at all this illegal activity, but we're not doing anything. So now they're starting to actually do something. That's a whole different kettle of fish. That's, we haven't seen that. And to see
that's
that
where
happening.
With blockchain, we have transparency, but where's the accountability? And so here's the accountability. This was the executive order that in Trump's first term, he did executive order 13818, blocking the property of persons involved in human rights abuse or corruption. And so if there's fraud or abuse of humans' rights, if you're killing babies, I'm just saying, or abuse or corruption. Well, if there's abuse, fraud and abuse, and the corruption, well, if they're abusing our rights, our human rights, constitutional rights, then this could be applied to all of that, I would think. This was from December 20th. So that NDAA that I read on that year in 2017, this was in there, and it orders all of their property to be given into the Treasury. And this includes their intellectual property. Also, the name, image, likeness. Your NIL is part of your intellectual property. And so we can go super woo on this, but some of these players that you're seeing, I believe that their NIL was also taken and put into the Treasury and maybe used in the movie over these past few years. But that's my woo belief of this. So this orders the human rights or corruption, blocking property of persons involved in human rights abuse or corruption. So this has been since December 20th of 2017. So it's all there. All the pieces are there. All the tools are there to correct this and to hold them accountable.
I hope we do start to see some accountability. That'll be real change. That'll be real change.
Yep. I think everyone's ready finally.
Yeah, everyone is exhausted and waiting. I think, and I don't know if it was you or I know I've been saying it forever. The pendulum always swings. Things get really one way, then they go really another way, and it just seemed like it wasn't ending. It was just getting more and more bad, and I was like, when is it going to come back? And then I remember the height of it. I talk about this all the time. I'm probably sick of it, but watching Cuomo stand there and admit to assaulting, not talking, not harassing, physically assaulting that woman, and then
with officers around them,
and then a press conference with every police officer and sheriff, like in the state of New York, and then they say now arresting is not off the table. If any, it still blows my mind if anyone else did that. It's like they automatically get arrested because it's and if they say on national TV, yeah, it was very inappropriate for me to put my hand up her shirt, go under her bra, and honk her boob. There's not even any argument you can make except throwing yourself on the mercy of the court. But he never got arrested, and he's talking about running again for governor because there was no accountability. It's not even cover up. It's just complacency, so like I said, real change.
And why didn't we, the people, demand it? Why, there's so much fluoride and white sugar and, compromised food, and stick their hands down their pants and watch another game of football, that they just sat there and went, well, somebody should do something about it.
Yeah, that's really bad. Like
somebody should do something about it.
That's like we were talking about, it's just, I think people are just fed up. They're like, no.
But now people are saying, wait, what are they doing to little babies? Who's shipping what, where? What are they putting in shots in our kids? And finally, like now, today, Trump pardons Biden's business partner, Devin Archer. Well, this was stuff like we all heard it. We all knew what was happening back in 2016, 2017, 2018. Well, now the reason he's pardoning him, I believe, is that then that removes Devin Archer's ability to plead the fifth. Now Devin gets to come in and testify. And
he never did. That's why he was in so much trouble, is because he just told the truth. He's like, I think he said, I saw.
Oh, and then they charged him with Hunter's crimes.
Put Joe Biden on speakerphone in business, meetings. I watched that, I think, 16 times. And, he said, I've never been involved in my son's business. He's like, no, I've watched it 16 times. And they're like, oh, you have? Well, guess where you're going?
Yeah. Then you get charged with what.
But I think something like we said in the beginning, that people are just fed up. And I think everyone's fed up. That's why you're seeing lefties blow up Teslas. Regular people, and you can say they're crazy and it's, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's just like everyone else. Everyone's done. And they're told this guy did this, this is a bad person. And they're like, okay, well, I'm going to handle this shit myself. You're not going to do it. It's the same thing. I think it's just that they, now have something to point at. Whereas before they were told everything's fine. We're in control. The left's owned everything. And now they don't. Now it's flipped. It's like we were before. But I think now when it comes to conservatives and the right, they're just as done. And they're a lot more focused when it comes on to doing, if we were pissed off enough, it would not be as messy as it is. So I think that's one of the reasons why things are happening, is because the people are finished. The people are pissed, and that is everybody.
Well, it's going to be interesting. All FBI files from Crossfire Hurricane, the Russia hoax declassified. This outs Adam Schiff. This shows that Gary Gensler signed the checks for Hillary to pay Perkins Coie and all that. This tells all the dirty secrets. So if the people are mad when they hear all the details, will they only get more angry? It'll be really interesting to see where this goes.
Well, I think people are, and a lot of my friends.
Will they hold the media accountable? Sorry.
Yeah, they're talking about emboldened. All the racists are emboldened, and everyone's I think everyone is emboldened. You put emboldened with fed up, and that's when you get action. So I think the media will be held accountable. I think it's starting out now where people are just suing them. everyone's, Musk came out and said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to sue you. This person said that I'm a Nazi. I forget. It was like 3 things. And he was like, okay, fine. Lawsuits are coming. And everyone's starting to do that. Trump started it, and now other people are starting to hold them financially accountable. And, they don't care. Even if it's a huge settlement or a huge lawsuit, they don't care, because it's like one thing. It's actually, they can spin it. They can get some PR out of it to soften the blow. But if you got 100 lawsuits or 1,500 lawsuits because they're coming from different people, that's lawfare that was reserved for governments and huge corporations. A person couldn't do that, but 500 people can bring 500 lawsuits. So it's getting to that point where, like I said, just people are taking back their power. And you can't stand against them.
It's interesting. I don't know how much I believe in lawsuits anymore. The way of the world is so corrupt. Like, oh, well, their money's in a trust, so they don't have to pay anything. Or, well, they just don't have any money. Oh, you might have a judgment, but make me.
Yeah, but if if you get to that's the thing. When you're talking about like media outlets, they either have to shut down or they have to pay out. That's the difference, and they're not going to shut down. So
I don't know if I believe that anymore. Don't think I believe it anymore. This was quite interesting. Hold on one sec. Let me share it real quick. There's more and more of this coming out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Witness will suspend. Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! So that protester was a code pink lunatic saying the greatest threat to world peace is funding Israel. I will observe, for the benefit of the audience here on television, that Code Pink is funded by communist China as well, which simply...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vice.
Very interesting, because that information was in the JFK CIA files. So are you saying that the CIA, the release information was false? Or like, which way is it?
it is something that people are starting to listen to, because we've been saying it. You follow the money, follow the money.
Right.
And that's another thing. People are stupid. Vast majority of people are very, very complacent, very stupid. And there's reasons for that. Education system, fluoride, science. They've been, the bad guys have been working on making people stupid for decades. And our forefathers warned us against it. Was it Adams or someone's you got to make people stupid. And then once they're stupid, you can't, you can totally control them. So if you're stupid, we don't want you here. You can go somewhere else. But like AOC and Bernie, they had that huge rally, the biggest rally, in forever in Colorado, 35,000 people. And this is one thing about the left, is they're not up on things. They're very behind the times. Remember going back to all the news outlets saying the exact same thing, and
yes,
that video of it. And then they had the Congress now, right after the State of the Union. They were all saying the same thing, even have the same movements. They would say something and then sit in the chair. I mean, it's obvious. It's all fake. They're just behind. Like, it's easy everyone's going to see it. All the posts they put out are the same. So they had this big rally. I don't know if you know this, but there's a company that tracks everyone's phone and triangulates them. So they tracked every device. That's what they're called, device. Every device that was there. Like 1 in 3 was at over 20 Kamala Harris rallies and BLM and that stuff. So they're obvious, and in different parts of the country. So they were paid people to be there.
They're shipping them to the
It
same
wasn't
rally.
like grassroots where everyone's from Colorado even. I mean, think about that. 1 in 3 have been to 20 or more. The numbers on it were crazy, but that's like that's super easy. It's provable. That's where that's money. Follow the money, and they're just trying to use the playbook of Trump and what he used to win, but they're not good at it. If it's not real, it's easy to know what's fake. So that's one thing. But it's fallen apart so bad on the left. It's imploding. I don't know how much longer it's gonna be here.
Who's going to be left standing over there? That'll be interesting for sure. The tax stuff is falling apart as well. We're getting close to tax time or whatever, and I guess they're now. I guess the overtime was a thing, but
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that. Think of that.
is that new overtime? I thought it was like no tax on tips, no tax on seniors.
Tax on tip, tax on overtime. That was one of the things you ran on. Okay. But I think it's funny, the overtime thing. Peter Doocy, it's weird because they have such access. He's doing press conferences like every day. Peter Doocy, the astronauts that Musk went up there and saved them and brought them back to Earth because they've been up there for like 9 extra months or something. So he Peter Doocy says, that NASA didn't give him overtime. They left him up there for 9 months, didn't pay him any extra. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, they only got $5 a day per diem. First off, why do you need per diem if you're in freaking space? It's not like you're gonna go to McDonald's.
DoorDash. Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, really? He goes, oh, yeah, what are you gonna do anything for him? He's like, yeah, I'll make sure they get taken care of. If I have to pay him out of my own pocket. He's like, really? $5 is all I got? It's stuck up there, stranded off of the planet? Okay. That was pretty hilarious. That now skullcap, that actually is supposed to be a thing. And it is a thing. Like you don't have to pay taxes on food that you buy. I don't know, some states maybe.
Some states, yeah. Texas is that way. I think Oklahoma just passed that.
You have to get convenience stuff, like if you buy McDonald's or something that's cooked, or if you go on 7-Eleven. Because 7-Eleven, that used to, when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s or whatever, I would catch them doing that because if you run a mom and pop, that's a good scam. Is if you just charge people tax, then you pocket the money. If you buy like a hot dog or nachos that are hot, you can charge tax. But if someone goes in there and buys a soda or chips or whatever, there's no tax. And same with gas. Like if you get $5 worth of gas, you pay $5 because the taxes are worked into it. Lots of times I'd be in 7-Eleven, like, why'd you charge me this tax? They're like, what are you talking about? It's like, this is regular. It's a bag of chips and a soda. You're not supposed to charge me tax. Oh, you're right. Sorry. So it's supposed to be that way. But also, I mean, no tax on like farmers. I mean, imagine if farmers didn't have to pay taxes, but they couldn't be like corporations, like Tyson or, Monsanto, that kind of thing. They just, if like a regular,
like family farm,
like a family farm, you didn't have to pay taxes. It's like the opposite. The Amish would be so happy that they actually voted for the first time. That's something you can't argue with. And I don't know if you saw, but Bernie Sanders got just crushed like a couple days ago because
I didn't.
He praised Trump for the fentanyl, stopping fentanyl from coming in. And he's like, nobody wants just an open border where criminals can come in. He said that, and literally people were like, you racist piece of shit. And he's so old. He literally like marched and was arrested for
common sense,
civil rights. Yeah, and they turned on him like unbelievably bad. It's so they're so crazy. And it was just basic stuff.
Crazy's gonna be crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
The Ripple SEC thing is like officially, I know they've been saying, oh, it's over, it's almost over, it's kind of over, it's gonna be over, almost over. I guess they decided to pull back their fees so they're recovering from the escrow. Ripple's pulling back 75 million from the escrow, and SEC is keeping 50 million. So that's like how they're resolving all that. And then they're dropping all their appeals. So I guess that'll be like the end of that. And then there was Japan. Oh, there were two other crypto things. There was Litecoin is now available in the Telegram wallet for non-US people, but still great news for Litecoin. I didn't even know there was a Telegram wallet, so that was kind of cool. And then there was a Japan, and now I'm not going to be able to find it, but Japan has announced a stable coin, and I'm not going to be able to find it. Japan, of course it's Circle, but it's like the first official like stable coin. So there you go. Launching its USDC today. So there you go. Stable coins away. And, I don't know. I guess that's the future.
I was talking to someone that I think they were in Japan yesterday, and we're talking about Tether and how it's there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. It looks pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be because they're quietly the EU, especially all of Europe, they're quietly moving out of it and delisting, which is so many exchanges and were built on Tether. All the trading pairs, everything is blah plus USDT. So it's going to be, hey, Greg Kazoo, good to see you. It's going to be bad.
Well, yeah, none of that is things that I would advise people to be involved in at all. Not that I give any advice at all, but just get your hands on real stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Put your energy into things, great projects that have real people and good things with good energy. And because all that magical internet fake stuff with bad people is just really dangerous. But hopefully we hear good stuff for Dragon Chain soon. I keep hearing these, good things happening with, the SEC going away and cases being dropped and all that stuff. But then it's like dead silent over there with the case against Dragon Chain. And
yeah, hopefully that'll be a big deal. Just because there's so much they're not allowed to even like talk about or be involved in, but they can't even talk about the fact that they can't talk about it. So it just seems like everything's quiet, but it's because they're literally gagged, So I think that'll be, and I think it'll be good for crypto just in general.
Mhm.
You know, for them to be an actual loud voice again, to be allowed to be a loud voice, and call for change.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, do you have anything else? Or you want to jump over to your channel for a little bit?
Jump over to my channel, yeah.
Okay.
Since
Well,
Jim's
then-
here, we could talk about how Trump wanted to join the British Commonwealth. That was a little odd, but I think
I did not. I heard that briefly, but I do not have any information on that. So I'd love for you to fill us in,
Okay.
because I thought that was bizarre, and I have no.
It is.
information.
It is very bizarre. It is very
Okay,
bizarre.
we'll go over to Satoshi Sean's channel, meet me there, and we'll
Hit the
see
like
what
button.
that's all about. See you guys over there. Thanks for joining us.